Yo, yo, yo. This journey, this road that I travel on, it all seems crazy. Over the years, I picked up thousands of tag-alongs, inspired by my story. From a juvenile, when my clothes had holes in them, and my afro was picky, to them 90s, Moschino and Versace, no laces in Arachi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today we'll be talking about the emergence of Dajjal, also known as the Illuminati, and he's a Jewish king, Okay, all praises be to Allah, Lord and Cherisher of the universes and Sustainer of the Divine Throne. We pray to the Supreme Divine Power to shower His blessings on His Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who gave glad tidings to the believers and warned the unbelievers against the consequences. While writing on the subject of Dajjal and Imam Mahdi, I felt that this subject has a very wide spectrum. Any vicious and wicked person holding a devilish power of killing and destruction can be termed as Dajjal, while the caucus of any good ruler will protect him as promised Imam Mahdi. We have done this mistake in the past and will do it again if we do not have any proper and definite projection. A thorough study of the Hadith visualizes many characteristics of Dajjal. It seems that many Dajjals, mischievous liars and self-proclaimed apostles or apostates would appear in this world. Though they will play some mischief with Muslims and Islam, the righteous Muslims will be able to ward off their dangers successfully. But the mischief of the greatest Dajjal will be insurmountable. He will wield enormous power such as deceptive miracles that will shake up the very foundation of Islamic beliefs. I have tried my best to make a thorough study of all the traditions, and I have conducted a careful analysis, husking and frisking away all exaggerated narrations. Thus I have strived hard to present a true and factual scenario of the greatest enemy of Islam, that in my opinion is still to come forth. But being a human being whose ingredient is mistake and error, I can't claim to be 100% accurate in my presentation. I pray the greatest forgiver forgive my errors and put me in the company of his guided and righteous slaves. This book is by Matloob Ahmad Qasmi. Who is Dajjal? Our beloved Prophet, may God shower his blessings on him and his prosperity, had advised his ummah that they, after every 5 times prayers, should seek the protection of God from the torment of hell, from the torment of the grave, from the mischief of life and death, and from the mischief of Dajjal, the Antichrist. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas, may God be pleased with him, states that the messenger of God sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to teach his dua in the same way that he would teach them a surah of the Quran. Muwatta Imam Malik. Who is the Antichrist or the big liar? Of what kind his mischief will be? What is the time of his emergence? How great will the mischief maker will be? For these things, let us see the following facts about his mischief and characters. Before the final destruction of this universe, and about 40 40 years before the doomsday, a very dangerous man will emerge from Isfahan, Iran, and will trample the whole world. He will come out like a storm and will move in the whole world like a whirlwind, destroying everything in his path. That comes in his way. He will possess extraordinary might. He will wield enormous power and will show wonderful tricks, which will attract hundreds of thousands of people around him. In the beginning, he will declare himself as the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ. May God bless him. And then he will call himself God. But actually he will be Masih ad-Dajjal, the Antichrist or the big liar. Dajjal comes from the Antichrist or the big liar. The believers all over the world pray God to save them from the mischief and the fraud of this Antichrist. It is stated that recitation of the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf and supplication from God to protect them from the mischief of Dajjal will be a great source of help for the Muslims. As mentioned in a tradition, a total of about 30 mini Dajjals will appear before the doomsday. All will declare themselves as prophets. The biggest one will be Masih ad-Dajjal, who will proclaim himself as God. Meaning of Dajjal. Al-Masih ad-Dajjal literally means the false Masih or Messiah. In other words, the Antichrist as opposed to Al-Masih ibn Maryam, meaning Masih of son Mary, Jesus. In other words, the Prophet of Jesus Christ, may God bless him. Muwatta Imam Malik relates from Hazrat ibn Umar, may God be pleased with him, that Holy Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I dreamt at a night that I was at the Kaaba and I saw a dark man, like the most handsome of dark men you have seen. He had hair reaching to his ears, and his shoulders like the most excellent of such hair that you have seen. He had combed his hair and water was dripping from it. He was leaning on two men on the shoulders of men, doing tawaf around the Kaaba. I asked, who is this? It was replied, Al-Masih ibn Maryam, Jesus Christ. Then we were near a man with wiry hair and blind in his right eye, as if it was a floating grape. I asked, who is this? I was told, it is Masih ad-Dajjal. Emergence of Dajjal is a sign of doomsday. Hazrat Huzaifa bin Usaid, may God be pleased with him, states that the Holy Messenger of God ﷺ came to us while we were talking. He asked us about what we were talking about. We replied that we were talking about doomsday. He said, it will not come forth till you see the sign smoke. It is stated that near doomsday a thick smoke will cover the whole world, affecting the believers mildly while all the non-believers will faint. Dajjal beast, it is stated that a beast will appear from the mountains of Safa, which will talk to the people and will separate the people from the non-believers. Rising of the sun of the west, descent of Jesus Christ, Gog and Magog, 3 times sinking of the earth, one in east, one in west, and one in Arabian Peninsula. The last one will be a fire from Yemen. In another tradition, it will rise from a ditch in Eden, which will drive the people towards the field of judgment. According to another tradition, the 10th sign is a strong wind that will throw the people into the sea. Hazrat Abu Hurairah, may God be pleased with him, narrates that Holy Prophet ﷺ said, when the following three signs appear, no good will it do to a person to believe than if he does not believe before. Rising of the sun, rising of the sun from the west, the coming of Masih ad-Dajjal, the coming of out of the beast. Sahih Muslim. Auf bin Malik, may God be pleased with him, came to the Holy Prophet ﷺ while he was in his skin tent during the Tabuk expedition. He said, count 6 things before the advent of doomsday: my death, the conquest of Jerusalem, mass deaths among you people, just as sheep die in large numbers during an epidemic, abundance of wealth to such an extent that if a person is given 100 dinars, he will not be satisfied. General anarchy and bloodshed, so that no Arab household will be spared from it. The life the life of peace as a result of a peace agreement between you and the Bani Asfar Romans, which will break and attack you, the force consisting of 80 flags, and under each flag there will be an army of 12,000 men. Bukhari. Names and origin. According to tradition, the Dajjal's real name will be Abdullah bin Siyatid and will come from somewhere between Syria and Iraq, but his emergence will be known only when he will be in Isfahan, a province of present Iran, at a place called Judea. He will be of Jewish origin. Hazrat Anas bin Malik, may God be pleased with him, narrates that Holy Prophet ﷺ said, 70,000 Jews from Isfahan wearing black sheets will follow him. Features. The most striking feature of his personality will be that he will be blind in his left eye. There will be a thick fingernail like an object in his right eye. He will have a wheatish complexion. As a report by Hazrat Ubaidah bin Samit, may God be pleased with him, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, I have explained Dajjal to you, but I fear that you may not have understood. Masih ad-Dajjal will be short and his legs will be crooked. His hair will be curly and twisted. He will resemble Abdul Uzza bin Qatan. It is reported that the word kufr, infidel, will be written on his forehead, which will be visible only to the true believers, both literate and illiterate. Hazrat Anas, may God be pleased with him, relates that the Messenger of God ﷺ has said no prophet was sent but that he had warned his followers against the one-eyed liar, Dajjal. Beware, he is blind in one eye, and your Lord is not. So, and there will be written between his eyes the word kafir. This hadith is also narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah and Hazrat Ibn Abbas, may God be pleased with them. Sahih Bukhari. Duration of his rule. It is reported that the Dajjal will rule over the world for 40 days. One day will be equal to 1 year, the second day to a month, the third to 1 week, while the remaining days will be normal. Thus his rule will last for 14 months and 14 days. How to offer prayers in those days, please see the details on page number 26. It is related from Imam bin Hasim, may God be pleased with him, that Holy Prophet ﷺ had said, since the birth of Adam a.s. till the advent of doomsday, there is no mischief greater than that of the Dajjal. Events and preceding the emergence of the Dajjal. 3 years drought. It is It is reported from Asma bint Yazid, may God be pleased with her, that Holy Prophet ﷺ has stated that before the emergence of Dajjal, there will be 3 spells of drought. In the first year, the skies will withhold 1/3 of their rain. Subsequently, the earth will withhold 1/3 of its produce. In the second year, the skies will withhold two-third of their rain, causing the earth to withhold 2/3 of its produce. In the third year, the skies will withhold all their water, and there will be no crops that year. All animals, whether hoofed or toothed, will die as a result. The greatest evil of Dajjal will be to approach anyone and ask him, "If I bring your camel back to life, will then you believe that I am your God?" The person will reply, "Most certainly." Thereafter a devil from the many devils and will always accompany Dajjal will appear from this person in the form of his camel, which a fattened up and fully laden udders. Similarly, Dajjal will appear before another person whose father and brother long died and asked him, "If I bring your father and your brother back to life, will you believe that I am your God?" The person will reply, "Why not?" The devils will once again take on the appearance of his brother and father. Muwatta Imam Ahmad. 3 tremors in Medina. Hazrat Anas, may God be pleased with him, states that the Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, "Dajjal will come and finally will reach the outskirts of Medina. There will be 3 tremors. All the disbelievers and hypocrites will flee from Medina. Thus Medina will be free from hypocrites." Conquest of Jerusalem and destruction of Medina. Abu Dawood narrates from Hazrat Nuwas bin Jabal, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet of God ﷺ said, "The building of Bait al-Muqaddas will be followed by the destruction of Medina due to the very fierce battle. This will be followed by a conquest of Constantinople, and finally this will be followed by the emergence of Dajjal. Christians will be the dominant power." Hazrat Sharik, may God be pleased with her, states that she heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, "The people will run away from Dajjal and will take shelter into mountains." Hazrat Sharik asked the Prophet, "O Messenger of God, will there be any Arabs? Will there be the Arabs?" He replied, "They would be less in numbers." Muslim. Ulay narrates from Hazrat Mustawrid, may God be pleased with him, who was in the company of Hazrat Amr bin al-As, may God be pleased with him, and said, he heard the Prophet ﷺ as saying, "The doomsday will come, and the Romans, Christians, will be in great majority in the world." Hazrat Amr, may God be pleased with him, said, "You should think over what you say." He replied, "I think what the Prophet ﷺ had said." Hazrat Amr said, "If you are right, they will possess 4 characteristics. They will be more steadfast at the time of calamity, more quick to overcome the catastrophe, more quick to return after fleeing, more sympathetic towards the poor, orphans, and weak. They will not allow their kings to do tyranny." Muslim. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Yo. This journey, this road that I travel on, it all seems crazy. Over the years, I picked up thousands of tag-alongs, inspired by my story from a juvenile, when my clothes had holes in them and my afro was picky, to them 90s.